Welcome to 5 and 5 from the One Stop Co-op Shop, where I discuss 5 key elements of a game in about 5 minutes. I'm Michael Kelly, and today I'm looking at Break-In Alcatraz. Quick disclaimer that I was sent a review copy of this game. But how enjoyable was this mystery in a box? Let's find out and get to the list. And a brief note, for games like these where basically playing it is the entire experience and it's kind of a one-off, I don't do full playthroughs, but if you watch after the end of this review video, I'll have about 5 minutes or so of me and my son trying out this game, just to show you some of the basic mechanics without spoiling more than the first couple of puzzles. I'm going to start out with a mix for my number 5, which focuses on the value and replayability of the game. Break-In Alcatraz tends to be about $15 to $20 depending on where you buy it, which is comparable to other games of this type, Unlock and Exit. So if you think those are a good value, I think you'll feel fine about this one too. Although for all of these games, it's pretty much a one-off experience for you, so I don't mind it, I'm kind of used to it, but if you want to buy a $20 game and play it 50 times, this is not going to fit your bill. But looking at this one specifically, and whether you can kind of pass it on to another group, it's not as bad as Exit, where you have to chop up every component in the game, basically, but it's not quite as good as something like Unlock, where you can just pass the deck of cards on, because the spatial elements have to kind of be taken apart, and you have to open up boxes. They can be resealed, and I've basically put the game back together again, and another group could play it, but, you know, things are a little bit haggard in where I reattach them, so it's not going to be as beautiful or as perfect the next time somebody plays. I have another mix at number 4, something that's pretty important to me when I play these games, and that's how the hint system works. So the basic idea of hints in Break-In is each major puzzle you try to tackle will tell you a card with hints on it, and you have a kind of red viewer that will reveal the hints in different levels to give you more help along the puzzle. And mostly this worked really well. When I was stuck, the hints would generally give me an idea of where to look. It has kind of a fun toy factor in looking through the red viewer. But on the negative side, sometimes the progression of the hints wasn't so great. The other thing that's a little bit annoying though is that the cards with hints, with the red viewer, if you stare at them, you can kind of see too much. And specifically, almost every card will end with a symbol you have to discover. And if you just stare at it for a few seconds, you can pretty easily tell what the symbol is. So not a big deal if you can exercise willpower and just not look down at the bottom of the card, but like when I was playing with my son, he kept on seeing things he shouldn't have, which was unfortunate. But I do have a full pro for number 3, and that's the 3D nature of how some of the puzzles in the game works. So from the very start of the game, there's a 3D nature to a lot of the puzzles, like you have to actually tilt the game box around and look for different things, and later on, without saying spoilers, you have to like look under things and move them around and track things. They could have probably accomplished a lot of the puzzles with a series of cards and done mostly the same thing, but the fact that the game kind of provides this 3D element both for the toy and fun factor, and actually for some puzzles to feel different, is really impressive and kind of makes me interested in the whole series overall. And my number 2 is also a pro, the biggest one in this list, and pretty directly related to number 3, but I thought it deserved its own attention, and that's the idea of opening up a box over and over again. I'm a really big fan of this series of app puzzle games called The Room, and the core idea of those, at least the original one, is that you keep on opening this box and revealing new puzzles. And the fact that this game actually achieves that in a physical medium and gives the players this really big rush of excitement of literally opening something up and discovering new things and little like trinkets inside, it just gives you these little rushes of excitement that I don't think I've found in any game of this type before. But I am going to end with a mix, a pretty important one, and that's the overall puzzle design, although some people might like this more or less. So one key thing about the puzzles here is that they tend to be very discrete and separate, so you'll have kind of one riddle in front of you and you'll know what all the elements are and you just got to put them together, and then you'll have the next one, and that's going to appeal or not appeal to certain type of puzzle people. I tend to be the kind of person who likes to have like a lot of inventory items and slowly figure out where to use them, but this still worked pretty well and at least kept things organized so I never felt lost. Many of the puzzles in here were also really clever, and again, I appreciated the spatial element. Although some of them were frustrating, and maybe I'm just dumb, but even looking at the hints, I couldn't really understand how you were supposed to solve it, and one I even think seemed to have a mistake, like the hint said something different than the actual solution did. So there were some wonky parts that kind of broke down my experience a bit, but when I pushed through, I generally enjoyed it in the end, and I did appreciate that there was a nice narrative thread throughout the puzzles, so I kind of understood what I was doing and why I was doing it. Overall, I enjoyed enjoyed my first foray into the Break-In series, and I do think I'm probably going to look for at least one more of these to pick up and try out. The spatial element of some of the puzzles, unlocking boxes to see new stuff inside, it's hard to say how exciting and kind of new that felt. At the same time, the puzzle design wasn't consistently great, the hint system had a bit of wonkiness, and like all of these types of games, you're paying $15 or $20 for a one-off experience, and you have to question if that value makes sense to you. But for me, yeah, I liked it. Not as much as Unlock, that's still probably my top tier for this kind of series, but I'm going to check some more out and see how they play. And again, if you want to hang on for a few minutes, you can see the game in action. I'm only going to spoil a few of the puzzles, but if you want no spoilers, just stop the video now. Good gaming, and I'll see you at the next stop. So hey, this is Mike again, and you're actually seeing into the past because the review you just saw was recorded after I'd played through the entire game, so hopefully it was good. I don't know. I've got my son Harrison with me. Wait for the camera, Harrison. We're going to try our best to solve this mystery. So we get a little letter first. I'll summarize because I want this to be a little quick thing. But basically we're trying to break into Alcatraz to help our friend Frank escape. We've got this box. My son has been dying to know how and when we open it. And the big thing is we've got like this stuff on the side with some things there, like little circles and squares.
Ooh, I found something on the bottom.
On the bottom, you did? Oh, so it's showing a picture of what's going to happen. Well, that's cool. It looks like there's like a little prison inside. And the basics I get of the gameplay so far are that whenever you see a circle, you're allowed, I guess
Dad, there's a hole. There's a hole.
There's a hole? Where?
There's a hole. Look, it's a hole.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You can look through that. Yeah, so here, let me explain it.
I can't see the inside of the hole.
So the circles mean you can find the matching card with that icon, and then you can read it. And the squares are places you can like do the solutions once you think you know what you're doing. And how the holes work, that Harris has been pointing out, is you slip in these little cards when you think you know the right symbols for the hole, and then you slip it in, so the symbol is the thing at the top. Then you slip it in until you see, come on. You slip it in until you see the color that you think is right, and then you look in the hole and you find that card. I think that's how it works. But we'll see how it all goes. Okay, so Harrison, here are the two cards we start with. Got our box of tools. Looks like the little cutouts will let us do things with them. We've got a letter from Frank, Harrison. All right, so Harrison, look for circles on the board. Don't look inside. Look for circle symbols here.
Found one.
Right, so Harrison found... What is that?
Looks like a message.
In a bottle, so find the card with that. It should be near the top. Oh, that's it, right? So you spot a bottle floating in the water. With a net in hand, you lean over the rail of the boat and scoop up the bottle as it passes by. Inside the bottle, you find a note. Oh, you found another one? A boat? Wait, where was it?
This top.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I saw that too. It's right on the water itself. Okay. All right, so in the morning of June 11th, the day Frank Morris and his companions plan to escape, you're on the ferry that runs between Alcatraz and San Francisco. Another passenger with you on the ferry is a prison guard returning to the island. You're pretending to be a plumber coming to fix some broken pipes, but there's a problem. The captain has a list of passengers in his pocket. At the end of the day, they make sure all visitors have left the island. You're going to need to get your name off that list if you don't want everyone looking for you later. Okay, so we have to distract the captain by accidentally sounding the whistle so you can sneak the passenger list out of his pocket. So we'll need a symbol, a color, and a number to solve this puzzle. You said we have to sound a whistle. Did you see a whistle anywhere on here?
Captain.
That's the captain we have to distract, but where's the whistle?
Oh,
Oh, it does look like a whistle.
it is a train whistle, Dad.
So why does it have an anchor symbol next to it? Now,
The anchor makes...
look, Harrison. This card has a little, like, face talking. Does that mean we just read the card, or is that actually a symbol on here? Oh, look. Here we go. It's another card. Oh, my gosh. There's a lot of text. So there's a lot of info here, but it's all kind of, like, about tips when we try to actually get into Alcatraz. So I don't think it's going to help us at the moment to distract the captain. I was thinking, do you want to try the anchor symbol, like you said, in here?
Wait,
And see if it lets us distract the captain? So let's show you how their hint system works. This is one they told us we could look at for the captain thing. And they have like a little red reader, so you can go to the one you want. Let's do the first one. Try to get one of the alarm whistles stuck on so it makes a lot of noise. Okay, so now I want to try your thing. So I think you're right that like that seems to be like a whistle that'll work, right? Mm-hmm. So we're supposed to put an anchor in here. Now the question is, what color do we want? I don't really know how we figure out the color. So find the one that has the anchor on it. Oh, look. We need a color. Red is loud, green is quiet. So we want to go to this one. Yeah, see, I'm just understanding this now. So anchor to go to the anchor side. In this hole because it's the one corresponding to it. And we want to go to where the red line is. Okay, Harrison, what symbol do you see in there? Like a bed?
Map.
It's a map?
Map.
Oh, look, you accidentally turn on the alert whistle. While the captain is distracted turning it off, you sneak the passenger list out of his pocket. No one's ever escaped the rock alive, says the guard next to you. At first, you were nervous he saw you take the list, but he draws you a map. Of the 3 places to escape to, Treasure Island is the farthest away, followed by Angel Island, then San Francisco. Next, he tells you about the 12 escapes that have been attempted and failed. He draws these with solid colored lines and numbers them. During number 10, they never even made it out of the cell house. You draw dotted paths connecting the cell house to paths other prisoners have used. You'll need to figure out the path from the cell house to the shore with the greatest chance of success. Okay, goal. Determine the path to the shore with the best chance of not getting caught. You'll need your destination symbol, the place where you'll climb down from the cell house roof, a number, and the path you'll follow to the shore, a color. So after reviewing, they said that people got caught at the boat a lot. They said that 3 attempts were made at the textiles building or industries or whatever, and they got caught a lot. They said you want to go close to where you're going to jump in, which are the symbols. So green doesn't go to either of those spots. I mean, it's still close to stuff, but I don't know. And it's close to the symbol, whereas like red is... actually, red is pretty close. But no, they said if you go east, that was the military base, right, Harrison? Mm-hmm. So, yeah, these would be too far to get to there. So we're going to try number 2, green magnifying glass. So here's the 2, Harrison. Find the magnifying glass. I think it's right on top there. Okay, and we're going to try up to green, so look in the hole. Here, I'll show it to the camera.
Sorry.
So what's it show?
Prison.
Prison cell? Yeah, so look for the prison cell card. Oh, I think we did it. Let's see how we did. As the boat pulls into the dock, the captain is distracted and you slip the passenger list back into his pocket with your name erased. You find yourself getting excited. You're curious what the world's most secure prison looks like from the inside. You have plenty of time to think about what you're doing as you walk up the long hill to the cell house. You enter through the main door. You hope your stay here is short, very short. Open the first layer of the box to enter Alcatraz. Be sure to look for highlighted card symbols. You successfully made it to Alcatraz. If you still want guidance, read card number 2. Very cool. So, look, you can actually like pull down the sides, and there's a little prison inside. This is kind of neat. You excited, Harrison?
Can I open?
Yeah. So here, pull it down. So you kind of like work it one side. Wait, is that? Oh, that one doesn't come off. Do you want like this one? Yeah.
It's easier once you got the first one off.
Yep. Okay, here, I'll kind of hold that part up. Do this one.
This one.
Yep. Right there. Nice. And I think... Ooh! Look at all the new symbols. Alright, we're going to stop our recording there, but I'm excited. This looks fun.